What up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is the UFC's number 11th ranked welterweight contender, fighting Gilbert Burns in the co-main event of UFC 287 on Saturday, April 8th in Miami, of course. He's so generous that he'll give you the three-piece and a soda, but only if you really deserve it. Game bred Jorge Masvidal, how's it going, my man?
Great, my brother. Great. It's a great day. Tomorrow I have my fight promotion, Roy Jones Jr. versus Anthony Pettis, who
Yes,
thought I'd be
sir.
competing in such events. Then a week from tomorrow, I myself will be competing in my own city of Miami, Florida. It is it is a blessing in so many ways. I'm not trying to brag, but I truly feel blessed to sitting here, being able to talk about these two massive events. Um, that most people will never get to do, and I'm getting them doing back to back, one week after another, and I'm in the driver's seat for both of them. It's crazy.
Before we get into everything you've got going on inside the fight game, I do want to start here. There's this video that came across the feed. Obviously, your knockout of Ben Askren is among the most iconic highlight reels in MMA. Have you seen this one circling around? Because they're kind of calling this like the Jorge Masvidal knee 2.0. Okay, so I got this for you here.
So we went right directly to the lobby.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's special in its own category, man. I mean, I think I'd have to be born in another lifetime to have that type of range of motion.
Appreciate it, man. Now, let's talk a little bit about this fight. What I find kind of compelling about Gilbert Burns is, man, there's been like a lot of tension between you and the people you fought in recent years. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Ben Askren. What are your feelings towards Gilbert Burns? Because I feel like it's not quite the same sort of energy that we've been seeing in recent years.
No matter what, I respect Gilbert. I saw him coming in the sport a long time ago, just being a straight jiu-jitsu guy. Then that wasn't working out for him, so then he evolved, and then he kept evolving. He came up to my weight. We both started at 155 pounds. So I've had my eye on Gilbert, not because I had my eye on him because I thought I was going to fight him, but just because we were both in the same weight classes, both from South Florida. You know, he's from Brazil, but he's been here I don't know how many years now. So I've definitely known about Gilbert, and I got respect for the guy. I got respect for a good percentage of the guys that get in there, and I understand trash talk, and I understand settling a fight, but there's just some guys that try to make it personal, and I never take it personal. But at the same time, I don't have to be friends with any of these guys, 'cause I didn't get into the sport to be friends with any of these guys. I got into the sport to make the most money possible and get as many belts as I possibly could. So like with Usman and stuff, he's touched on things about my religion and things that I never said, that they were just out of character and stupid of him to say. And then with Colby Covington, he's just a piece of shit, bro. I mean, talking about my kids, talking about my fucking exes who I dated, he'll sell and he'll do and say anything to sell a pay-per-view to get $1. When I literally fed this piece of shit, he lived in my couch for a year. I didn't live in his fucking apartment. He stayed in my fucking apartment under my name. I paid the fucking bills. He was an amateur that had broken his fucking hand. And it's crazy that he would do that just for a pay-per-view. Like, yeah, we're gonna fight. We're gonna beat the shit out of each other already. There's no need to talk about my fucking kids, you know. But it shows his true colors at the end of the day. He's a piece of shit, and he's always been, and he'll continue to be that piece of shit, you know. John Jones doesn't have anything nice to say about him. John Jones was roommates with him back in college. Tyron Woodley got to spend some time with him as well at American Top Team. Tyron Woodley can't stand him, you know. So it's just like the guy's fucking sheer shit, bro, you know. So not that it's personal with him, but I definitely don't enjoy this guy. He's not my cup of tea. And then on top of that, we already knew he's retarded, but he's claiming that I gave him a brain injury allegedly. So I don't even know, what to think about this fucking idiot, bro.
How does it make you feel? I mean, on that note, how does it make you feel that the UFC seems to be pushing for Colby versus Leon? Because even Leon would rather give that fight to the winner of you versus Gilbert.
I'm not worried about it. I got my work cut out for me, and my work is to eliminate Gilbert and do it in an impressive fashion, and everything will fall into this place. They might be thinking Kobe this, they might be thinking Kobe that, but like I said earlier, the guy's claiming I gave him a brain injury, so how are they gonna give him any type of title shot? This guy's already retarded, you know. He's either one chromosome too many or one chromosome less, so I ain't worried about him getting the title shot over me.
Leon Edwards obviously coming off the second win over Kamaru Usman. Did you watch the fight? And if so, what can you sort of take away from Leon's performance and how it might apply to a fight with you down the line?
You know, mm, I got a couple losses in a row, and I fought for the championship twice, and 3 times actually, the BMF, and then two at Kamaru. Kamaru's a guy that the second fight wasn't as much grappling. He's a guy that's relying more on his wrestling, on his ability to sniff crotches and just hug a man as hard as he can and try to negate my stand up, but also at the same time not be able to do stand up himself and not be able to do damage. In the second fight, he was able to land a nice, beautiful blow that he made it seem like a takedown. But in the first fight, it was just straight wrestling, you know. Colby, same thing. He never wanted a piece of stand up, just constantly shooting, shooting, and wrestling. And those are things that Leon doesn't do because he's a good defensive wrestler and he's very good with the stand up, the kicks, the knees, the elbows. He has good range. But those things all play into my hands because I'm not worried about his stand up. I know mine's is better. I know I'm more durable. I know I'm faster than this guy. I know I hit harder than this guy. And I'm just more experienced in the stand up department where he's strong. Offensively, I don't think his wrestling would be a problem for me in any way, shape, or form. So I'm eager to get in there and improve that. And then after that, get back in there with these wrestlers that I haven't had the best draw against because I've been working on my wrestling since I lost to these guys and just trying to perfect it because I know that if I can keep the fight on my world, if I could keep it where I wanted to, which is the stand-up department, I could beat anybody walking fucking planet Earth. I've had deficiencies, problems with the wrestling, with certain things, the clock getting eating up as I'm just getting held up against the fence or something of this nature. And since those fights took place, I've only been working on getting better at those things. So I do have 20 years professionally in this sport. I started at 18. I'm 38 now. And I got a lot of knowledge, not just in the stand-up game, but in the wrestling and what works, what doesn't work. And every time I've lost, I've just tried to write up a new formula, a new game plan, and get back to it, you know?
For sure, man. Just a couple more things on the fight, because I know you talk about the fight a lot, and then I want to wrap up on some rapid fire, get to know you a little bit better as a person. You talked about that second Kamaru loss and how it's something that you're having a really hard time getting over, suffering a knockout loss. How do you take that and either move on or channel it into something productive for yourself?
You know, it actually turned into like a very hard downward spiral for me. I fought Kamaru Usman 9 months before that, and you know, I felt his best shots after having cut 20 pounds, flew all the way to Abu Dhabi, and I was like, this guy will never fucking hurt me. Like, he's just not born with that, you know, And lo and behold, 9 months later, he has unreal, unnatural power, which is still like, you know, power is not something in the punching department that comes overnight, you know, so it's just very, very surreal. And I just thought out of all the people, because if I had never fought Usman and then I got, you know, clipped by him, it'd be different. I'd be like, oh, you know, I didn't really fully understand his power. But after having 5 rounds with him, I just didn't think he could ever be the guy to knock me out. And if you look at my record since I started MMA, I've faced some killers in the
Strong
stand-up.
chin.
I've faced some real badasses in stand-up that made a living off stand-up before they got into MMA. Were just in either kickboxing or some form of combat that there was more stand-up than anything. So I just never in a million years would have thought this guy would have done it. So it sent me into a very dark place. But like a lot of times when we go into these dark places, you either don't come out or you come out something more powerful, something bigger, badder, and stronger and unbreakable. So it took me for a while. If 8 months ago I would have been talking, it would have been a complete different person. It's taken me a long time to get here. That's why I also didn't want to fight. I had a lot of things outside of my hands that I couldn't control. Like I got 3 felonies. I got, you know, 3 lawsuits. I got also 3 losses in a row. So I just knew a lot of things had to change. I had to get my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul in the right place. And I feel like I'm in that right place now, you know? So come April 8th, I just want to treat everybody the violence that they're used to from getting from me, you know? Give it all I got to end Gilbert and keep it moving.
Well, Jorge, I want to thank you because, I mean, obviously, this isn't necessarily the kind of stuff you want to talk about heading into a fight, but you're so honest and your candor I really appreciate. The last thing before we move on to the lighter stuff, you know, 2019 is one of the greatest runs I think any UFC fighter has ever had. Just knockout, 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 taking the world by storm. And here we are, 3 up, right?
Top 5 guys.
Yeah.
Top 5 guys. 3 of them in 1 year. You'd have to go back to the Matt Hughes era where he got 3 finishes on top 5 guys like that in a year. You know, so that puts me in the category of Matt Hughes, which is a great competitor, you know. So 2019 was It was a great year for me.
Amazing. And but here we are, 3 up and now 3 down. How do you sort of process that, and what sort of toll does it take on you? How does it inspire you moving forward?
You know, it's 3 losses, and the first one coming to Usman, I take the bout in about 6-day notice, cut 20
Yeah.
pounds, go to Abu Dhabi.
Totally.
So I factor in these things like, and then going 5 rounds decision with him, like, man, had I, maybe not cut so much weight, this and that, or had I had more time to prepare, who knows what could have happened. But I don't like to leave things up to that. So it's still a loss no matter what. But it's also in the back of my mind, like, things could have played out different that night. The second fight, he clearly outsmarted me. I thought he was going for a takedown, landed a beautiful right hand. Boom, puts me down. And then, with Colby, I didn't have my best performance going in there. I wasn't in the best shape of my life for some outside factors and things like that. So it's just like, fuck, damn, what am I doing wrong? But there is a common denominator between all of them, is that they're wrestlers and they're usually wanting to wrestle more than anything. So I immediately started to address that, like, what could I do to nullify these wrestlers? What could I do to keep the fight where it benefits me more, and that's all I've been working, and after the Usman fight, like I said, I was in a very dark place for like a very, very, very long time. It just showed I gained tremendous amount of weight. There was numerous things going on in my life that just were toxic, and for an athlete, they weren't helpful. They were actually detrimental to a certain extent. So I feel like I cut a lot of that out in the last 8-9 months, and I'm in a much better place, So now all I got to do is just let it show. That's the amazing thing about fighting. If what I'm talking about is so true and it's right, then it'll show on April 8th, and the world will get to see what I've been working on. That's what I love.
I love that.
Most instant gratification.
Is it safe to say that that's what's motivating you the most right now, just being able to sort of bring all that work to fruition?
Oh, definitely, 1,000%. Long behold, the fight with Gilbert got signed. I was already preparing for somebody. Who and what, I didn't know. But I was just preparing, getting myself in shape. And when the Gilbert fight came already, it was like the jet was already charged up with all the fuel it was going to need. I did this camp. It was one of my better camps out of my whole career. I've always been a guy that's very critical of myself. How many times did I get taken down today in practice? How many times did I get taken down throughout the week? How many body shots did I land? All these things. And I truly feel that this has been one of my better training camps, period, on a physical level, on a technical level. So now, just go out there and have fun. Forget about everything. Just blank my mind out and do what I've wanted to do since a kid. It's crazy. I'm here talking to you tomorrow before my event with Roy Jones Jr. versus Anthony Pettis.
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr. versus Pettis, and it's also available on Fight Pass. And then a week from that, I'm getting to compete myself a week later. So it's just, like I said at the top of the show, it's just a huge blessing, man. And man, I can't believe it. I'm sitting in here and I'm in the driver's seat, and I'm gonna give it all I got to take these guys out, man, and take their souls home with me.
Jorge, you've been so generous today. I want to thank you. You've on a crazy day, I know it's been. So as we wrap up, I just want to run you through some stuff away from the fight game, give you a little bit of a break, okay? So first, what is the weirdest thing at Joe Rogan's studio?
Well, first let me say he's got some of the dopest art I've seen. Like, his thing is a museum. I'm sure at some point he'll, like, charge somebody $1,000 and get to walk around his studio. But the weirdest thing, I mean, I didn't really see anything weird, I don't know.
Your favorite, whatever.
He has that wolf that I think people have seen from what is it? Wolf in Paris or Werewolf in Paris. I forgot the movie, but it's so realistic looking. It's so badass. He also has another picture that a fan made for him. That it's like his mind and everything that's on his mind and different individuals and activities and stuff like that. And it was just beautiful, beautiful artwork.
Sick. I love it. Okay, what's the process of getting into a Kimbo Slice fight? Like, how are you recruited? What's the show win?
For the Kimbo Slice, very interesting. Me and Kimbo were training at the same gym down in Miami. I was there for some time, and his handlers, his managers had approached me, and they liked what they saw, and they were like, hey, we'd like to have you fight in the backyard. At the time, Kimbo's already getting like 40 million views. He's a legitimate, bona fide rock star fucking celebrity. I'm talking about Michael Jackson has like 1 million views on his most popular song at the time in YouTube. This guy, Kimbo, has fucking 40 million views, And he asked me, hey, do you want to compete on my platform? It's like, oh, do I want to compete in your platform? You know, I'm just a kid at the time, you know, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to compete for you, man. So I get to go out there, lay it all on the line and do it, you know. And basically back then the fights were very like hush hush. It wasn't like a scheduled date at a scheduled location or none of that. It was more so like, you know, the day of they'll call you, and then after that, you know, they'll let you know within like 2 hours, hey, we're gonna be here, and show up there, and that's it, you know. So how it happened was they talked to me, go, we'll keep you in mind. Maybe like 3 months passed by, and I'm already like, man, these guys were just bluffing. They were lying. They forgot about my. I finally get a call like 2 3 weeks later, and it's like, hey, you still interested in fighting? I'm like, hell yeah. All right, we'll be in touch with you next week. Monday, Tuesday, a couple days pass by. I'm literally at McDonald's ordering food, and I get a call, and it's from Kimbo's team. They're like, "Hey, could you be ready to go in 2 hours?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" So I immediately don't eat what I was about to eat, cancel that order. They tell me I'll send you the location about 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, I get the location. I get there, you know, and when I get there, I'm warming up, and they go, "Hey, Kimbo wanted to go first because he wanted to see your fight after." So I was already like, "Wow, this is fucking awesome."
Hey.
In Kimbo fashion, without warming up, a black Escalade, pimped out with some rims and tints and all that. The door opens, a ton of smoke, like if a smoke machine just fucking came out of the car. Kimbo hops out with his fucking aura that he's always had. You know, he has his gold chain on. He takes it off. He gives it to Icy Mike. He goes, bring that motherfucker on, and he jumps in the cage without warming up or anything, and immediately starts fucking going to town on the dude. The fight finishes, and then they tell me, hey, the guy that you're gonna fight, he wants to fight another guy before you. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, well, I guess. Do I have any control over that? And they're like, no, yeah, he wants to fight another guy than you. I'm thinking this guy's incredibly stupid or fuck. I'm asleep. You know, that fight that he has before me literally takes about 20 seconds. He knocks the guy the fuck out. And one of the guys that was with me comes running. He's like, oh my gosh, he's got a really good right hand. Be careful for his right hand. Big. And he's just like nervous and in fear. And I'm like, holy smokes. Okay, I'll watch out for this right hand, you know. And I get in there, and the rest is history. The dude ended up being a great fighter, great competitor. Ray, his name, his street name at the time was Combo, because he would lay the combos on people. But his actual name is Ray. And man, we had some fun times in those backyards. We had 2 wars. It was amazing. And the video didn't drop because they didn't want to, for some reason, the team didn't want to drop it till much later. So it wasn't until like a year later that fight came out, or 2 years. And I'm just browsing through YouTube, and I see my video for the first time ever. And I'm looking at it, and it already has like 300,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck? The next time I see that video, it's over like 500,000 views. And, you know, the rest is history. That thing just blew up. So I always rest in peace. Give thanks to Icy Mike, give thanks to Kimbo, because they literally put me on a platform that they didn't have to, for the whole world to see, you know. And I never take that for granted with a different.
Amen. Dude, I thank you so much for everything today. I wanted to run you through some gangster movies. We're going to save it for next time. A little juice for the next time. Are you sure? Okay. I'm going to give you 5. I'm going to throw you some curveballs here. I want you to rank them from number 1 to number 5, okay?
Okay.
All right. We got The Godfather. 1 or 2, your pick. Goodfellas, Scarface, Boys in the Hood, and The Irishman. Rank them 1 to 5 for me.
Man, you know which is number 1, cause you know, say hello to my little friend. You know, it's my city. It's our culture. Literally, that's how a nice part of this city got built out, was by this type of lifestyle in Miami, you know, and just a lot of go-getters that came from wherever they came from in Latin America, Cuba, Central America, and they just came here looking for a better future. They didn't necessarily go about it the right way, about how the book says, but I definitely, you know, and having lived through that time. So I was born in 1984, as Miami was the murder capital of the nation, the home invasion capital as well. All these things were happening in Miami. It was just freaking nuts, you know, to see that movie, have lived it and stuff. So without a doubt, Scarface, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you know. And plus, because it's so real, and it touched homes. And from family members, my dad included, and many friends that actually lived that life and got institutionalized off of it. I grew up in that mix, you know, to a very close extent.
Okay, Jorge Masvidal, you fight you fight Gilbert Burns in the
Kobe
co-main
did
event
that.
of you. Yeah, we'll worry about that one later. And the co-main event of UFC 287 on Saturday, April 8th. If there's anything you want to let the people know, the fight, what you got going on, Roy Jones versus Showtime, the floor is yours, my man.
First and foremost, all praise be to God that not just in these last 8-9 months that He's dropped wisdom on me and revelations and signs on me that I was able to come out of that dark place. But throughout my whole life, like I said, I didn't have like a typical upbringing. Being here in Miami, being from two immigrant parents, my dad got incarcerated when I was 4 years old, and it wasn't easy always. But God always showed me like a way out, and just stick to my craft, and everything will plan out. So I always just first and foremost want to give thanks to God. Give thanks to everybody that saw this young boy fighting in the backyards and has stuck with me these 20 years, because it's been an up and down roller coaster from fucking hell. To all my fans, thank you, because I truly feel in my heart that I have the best cult-like following fucking fans in the fucking world. So I always want to thank them and just say I love you. And also, don't miss out on Roy Jones Jr. versus Anthony Pettis tomorrow, live on pay-per-view. Get your digital rights at ppv.com or UFC Fight Pass. Let's fucking go. Don't miss out.